Hello world and welcome to Real Cooking at Home. My name is Mark and today we're doing one of our absolute favorite dishes. Today we're doing a lasagna. And our lasagna, it takes a lot of prep time, but it is so simple to put together. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our onions, our garlic, and our herbs, and we're going to saute those. Now I have went ahead and preheated this pan with oil, olive oil, and I'm just going to saute these onions and herbs down. Now, the onions I've got 2 medium-sized onions, about 5 cloves of garlic, because we really like garlic, and this is some fresh basil off of our basil plant outside. This is a tablespoon and a half of dried oregano. I'm going to use fresh oregano in the mixture that we're going to use for our cheese. And about 4 bay leaves. So you're just going to saute this down. Once this sweats out for about 5 minutes, I'm going to come back and I'm going to add our meat mixture. Okay, now our onions and garlic and all of our herbs have sweated down for about 5 minutes. Now into this, I'm going to put this meat mixture. Now this is 1.5 pounds of Italian sausage and 2 1/4 pounds of ground chuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brown it down really good. And once it's browned off, I'm going to drain the fat off of it. Okay, our meat mixture has been browned and I've drained it off. Now I'm going to add in almost 2 6-ounce cans of tomato paste. Now what I've done, I've undone both the top and the bottom so I can just push it out like that. Isn't that festive? So you get all the tomato paste out and you don't have to make a mess. Now I do just want to use about 1/2 can of this. I don't want all 12 ounces, so we can do this and then we'll reserve the rest of that tomato paste. So I'm just going to mix this in, set it to the side to cool, and then we'll move on to our ricotta cheese mixture. Now in the ricotta mixture we're going to use fresh oregano, and this is our oregano plant, and Wayne's just tripping some of the longer branches off so we can get our fresh oregano that we're growing out here on the porch. Okay, so this is ricotta cheese, 45 ounces, and that's a big one and a half one, just like that. Now I have seen it in the past, and I've had it in the past where people use cottage cheese. I just don't think it's got the flavor that ricotta cheese has, so that's why I prefer using ricotta cheese. But hey, if you're one of those cottage cheese fans, by all means go ahead and use your cottage cheese in this step. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of our fresh oregano from the garden, and I'm going to add in about 1/2 cup of fresh chopped parsley. Now y'all, if you can, please use fresh herbs in this part because you're just not going to believe the flavor that it gives. So go ahead and mix your herbs in to your ricotta cheese. Now we're going to add about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese that we've grated up. Right there like that. And to this I'm going to add in 3 beaten eggs. Just like that. Now once I get all these eggs incorporated, I'm going to salt and pepper and season to taste. So what I'm going to do now is put in about 1.25 teaspoons of salt and about 1 teaspoon, well, let's go about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Mix this in and give it a taste for season. Set it in the refrigerator until we're ready for it. Okay, now for our lasagna noodles, all I did was cook the lasagna noodles in accordance to the directions on the package. Then I took them out of the hot water, laid them on a sheet pan, and brushed each layer with some olive oil so they wouldn't stick together. And now it's time to layer the lasagna. Now this first part's kind of important. I'm just using a canned tomato sauce. This is Real Cooking at Home. You can make your sauce if you want to. Canned is perfect. So I'm going to take a can of tomato sauce and about half the can, just like that, I want to layer the bottom of my lasagna pan. Now notice this lasagna pan. This is a very deep, very big lasagna pan. This will be absolutely chock-a-block full of lasagna. Now, I saved 2 noodles that I did not brush with olive oil because I need to make a collar. What I mean by a collar is I'm going to stick this lasagna noodle to the side of this pan just like this. Now, had I put olive oil on that, that collar wouldn't have stuck that well. So I'm going to do this on each side to make the collar for our lasagna. These lasagna noodles aren't long enough to reach the end of the pan. So I'm putting the end of my lasagna noodle to this side of the pan first. Notice there's not any over here. My next layer, I'll go from this way and work back this way. On top of the noodles, we're going to add half of our meat mixture. This is the half, and what we did a bay leaf removal from this. So this is half of our meat mixture. Just pour it in. And I'm going to take and spread this meat out into a single layer. Now I'm going to take half of our ricotta mixture. And what I'm going to do is kind of cut it in half from the bowl so I know about how much half is. And I'm just going to dollop on top of my meat. Now once I get this half of that dolloped out, then I'll take my spreader here and spread it all out even on top of my meat. Now I've got all that cheese spread out evenly. Now I'm going to take my mozzarella cheese. And this is 2 pounds of mozzarella, and I'm going to use half this bag right here. You want your lasagna good and cheesy. And we're going to go ahead and put some more sauce on. And we're going to start our layer all over again. Now y'all, don't be scared of your sauce. I'm not going to tell you how much sauce to use, but I will tell you if you don't use enough, your lasagna may tend to dry out. We've done that in the past. So now we're just not scared of the tomato sauce. We're not scared of it at all because we don't want a dry lasagna. So that's half the layers, and we've already used 2 full cans. So spread that out. Okay, I've put our second layer on. You notice here I've got my mozzarella cheese and my layer of sauce. I'm doing my last layer now.
Nothing broke this time.
And y'all think we need to feed this one to the cameraman?
Uh-huh.
The cameraman. So now, notice, there's 3 empty cans. I'm working on a 4th can of sauce. Once again, don't be scared of this sauce. So we're going to have to put another layer of sauce down, because pasta tends to dry out easily, because even though it's cooked, it's going to continue to soak up moisture from this dish, so you don't want it to be dry. This is our second bag of mozzarella cheese. This is the last thing that goes on top of it, is your cheese. So sprinkle the cheese all over the top. Now, last cheese, Parmesan. I'm just going to take my Parmesan and use my microplane and grate a thin layer of Parmesan all over the top. Now, this, my friends, is ready for that oven. Okay, our lasagna is ready to go in the oven, but what I want to do first is I'm going to take it and just give it a tap. That's going to work a lot of air bubbles and stuff in it out. Now, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I've got a sheet pan lined on the bottom shelf, so if anything bubbles out, it's not going to dirty the oven up. So into the oven, 350 degrees for 1 hour, and this thing weighs a ton.
That's heavy.
So into the oven we go for 1 hour. When it comes out, we're going to let it rest for at least 30 minutes. Actually, we are going to eat this tomorrow. This is going to be tomorrow's dinner because we've got something else for supper tonight. Because lasagna is a whole lot better left over the next day. And if you were to take this out and cut into it 30 minutes after it come out of the oven or immediately after it came out of the oven, it's just going to fall apart. It's not going to stick together. It just needs time for those flavors to marry. So once again, this is not a quick dinner, but it is something that you can do the day before you want to have it, and it is outrageously good. Come on back and we're going to taste it. Okay, our lasagna's been out of the oven for about an hour, and what I'm going to do is taste it. Now, I'm not going to cut a huge piece because, like I said, this is for supper tomorrow night, but I've just got to taste it for you and see how we did. I bet we did real good. Let's look. Cheesy goodness right there on top. It's still gonna be hot. So hot. The fresh herbs in the cheese just pops. The meat mixture. You get the Italian sausage. The sauce is perfect. Remember, don't be scared of the sauce. So, until next time, get in the kitchen.